Hey guys, this is Reggie for Gunpla Network, and today I'm bringing you guys my unboxing of the high-grade Stargazer Gundam from the Gundam Seed Stargazer OVA. Now before we begin, I'd like to give a big shout out to Canadian Gundam for supplying me with this kit to unbox and review to you guys. As I always say, and as all of us say here, please go check them out. They have a great stock of kits, not only Gunpla, but Digimon, Figure Arts, Figure Rise Standard, a lot of popular and even obscure kits and action figures and supplies that you can even think of. They have a flat rate $10 shipping fee all across the US, and go check them out. Go say that Gunpla Network sent you and go pick up your kits today. So while we're at it, here we are with the Stargazer Gundam, and I have to say that, admittedly, when I first got this, I was a little apprehensive about this because the general narrative amongst the Gunpla community, even when I joined back in the mid-2010s, was that all the high grades pre-00 leave much to be desired. Lack of stickers, color separation, bad proportions. I never heard anything good about a high-grade kit in 1/144 scale prior to 2007. So I was a little apprehensive, but I decided it's my job to put my notions and biases aside and not let myself become of the hive mind and go check it out for myself. Now, I'm not too familiar with Stargazer. I am a begrudging fan of Seed. I do love Seed. I can admit the problems of the writing with both Seed and Seed Destiny. I love the mobile suit designs, the music, animation, meh. But it's been 20 years. We kind of know all of the problems at this point. So this is the only way you can get this. Unless they come out with a robot Damashi, but I highly doubt that. But we're going to open it up and see what we have here. So we're going to go in chronological order, and we have the A plate. The A plate is your multicolor plate. The white is kind of like a pale chalk white to me. I'm surprised this kit doesn't really have that many colors. I know it's like a very uniformal Gundam, but I'm actually surprised at the lack of coloring. It's just white, the gray for the interior parts, a little bit yellow, and a little bit of red. That's it. It's very minimalistic. And I gotta say that there is enough detail here. You know, not everything is as blandish as I thought it would be. And it's a sizable amount. I gotta say it's a decent good A plate. The B is going to be the bulk of the armor, the legs, the shoulders, the arms. A lot of it is made up here, and I gotta say, again, it continues the motif of the chalk white, but there is a decent amount of molded in detail and a lot of panel lining available to you. I also love the fact that you could tell just by looking at some of the legs, it's still within the cosmic era. It follows a lot of the lineage of the GAT units. I could tell with the legs. Obviously, it's not a part of the GAT unit series, but you could definitely see the genealogy is there within the Gundam Seed universe. And I like those little details you get. Sea Runner continues. You're going to get noticeably the head. I can see some of the waist. And again, it continues the chalk white. And, you know, it's just kind of fairly standard here. Nothing too special. And I'm just surprised it kind of went with a minimalistic approach to it. And it looks pretty well. And a decent amount of molded in detail. Next, we have the D plate, which is the inner frame. And I gotta say, the inner frame, or the interior parts that make up the joints for this kit, they kind of remind me, ironically enough, of my original Master Grade GP01. A lot of the parts are very reminiscent of building up that Master Grade from 1997. So I can say that, you know, kind of, I could see the start of adding a bit more detail into high grades instead of just slapping two plastic pieces together. You're starting to see that there. So my notion of all high grades pre-2007 suck are kind of being proven wrong, and I'm happy about that here. E-plate. E-plate is probably the most unique plate on here. This is going to make up the cosmic sailing and a lot of the effect parts. And it's like a nice, it's not quite lime green like you would see on the beam effect parts of Gundam Wing kits, but it's like a nice kind of cool translucent green. I love the rings. I can't wait to use this as a part of the kit. It's going to make posing with it a lot more fun and a lot more interesting. So I'm pretty psyched to see this. Nice addition to the kit. It actually comes with a display base, because I don't think you really see this Gundam really walking. From what I remember from the OVA, 95% of the time it's in space floating around. So I was happy that Bandai included this. Yes, it's not an action base per se, but you can always pick up an action base on your own. But a display base is actually pretty thoughtful, especially since it's flying around, and maybe they thought with the effect pieces that the Stargazer Gundam could not move well. Now we have the polycaps, and the polycaps, small sheet. It seems like it's just the bare essentials of what's needed. I see some parts for the arms, the torso, the ankles. It seems like with its polycap design, I'm so used to having extras being available to me that they kind of decided they went with a more minimalistic approach. So I'm not expecting to have too many left over, and I'm all right with that. All right, we're getting to the sticker sheet, and I have to say I am a little disappointed. There's a lot more black trim parts than I would like. It's kind of giving me Burning Gundam vibes here. And, you know, I got to remember that this is a mid-2000s high grade. I can't expect all these parts to be molded in. The eyes and the cameras, that's fine, but still, I was hoping that there would be something to break up the black trim. No, it's stickers. I just hope they're good adhesives and they're not just gonna kind of fall out or dry up over time, because that black trim is a heavy part of the Stargazer design. However, we're gonna get to stickers that I do like, and I do like these kind of like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of reflectant tape or pyramid paper. It has like a nice sheen to it. These stickers, I don't mind because they look great and they pop. Even though it's just, they're so reflective and I love their design. I'm a little bit more willing and more acceptable about this being used as a special feature rather than the black trim parts. And finally, this last little piece that I'm leaving in the baggie for now because this seems kind of vital and I don't want to lose it. The small kind of almost metal piping here. I don't know. I haven't looked at the manual too well yet. But this is seeming like it's going to be used for something as a support mechanism. I'm going to leave it in the baggie because I would hate to lose this and lose something that could be potentially a very important component of the Gunpla. So I'm going to leave it alone. And that is my unboxing of the Stargazer Gundam. Going into this and after looking through it, I have to say that I'm a little bit more optimistic about the build because it seems like there's a little bit more than I was expecting. Again, there seems like there's a lot of instructional integrity, so it's not just going to be floppy or fall apart. A little disappointing to see the black trim parts on the foil stickers, but I guess it was better than trying to paint it. And they are going to add that kind of like pop to it. I just hope that they're high quality stickers and not just going to fly off in a couple months or a year or two, because the Stargazer needs those stickers. And, you know, some interesting effect parts and an action base, or display base, I should say. Definitely is going to add a little bit more playability to the Gunpla, and it's not going to make it kind of just stand out. You're just going to leave it standing up and that's it. There's a lot more playability here, and I'm excited to see that. So I'm going to build this up. Hopefully I should have the review out sooner rather than later. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this unboxing of the Stargazer Gundam. And also another thank you to Canadian Gundam for supplying me with this kit. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day, and see you later.